Did you just throw your phone?
No, I did not throw the phone. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Beg Pardon, the podcast that dares you to say it again. As always, I'm your host. Why are you smiling? I'm your host, Anthony. This is Carlos, and we cannot get a proper introduction done, so this is what you get. How are you, Carlos?
I am good. That's why I'm laughing, folks, because you don't see the behind the scenes of the blooper reel.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, guys, and I'm sorry that something so simple I am incapable of doing for you.
Oh my God.
But today we're going to talk about streaming services. So with the virus, everything that's going on, it's allowed people to, like I say, it's allowed people to stay at home and stream stuff. It's forced people, yeah. It's forced you to stay at home and stream things from your couch. But now, do we have too many options? I don't know. That's kind of the topic of tonight's show. And some new developments with some of those streaming services transitioning movies from completely out of theaters. Some movies that won't even see a theatrical release at all. So we're going to dive into those topics as well. Carlos, streaming services that you subscribe to.
Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. I want to say that's it. Okay. I think I have those four.
Same. I have Apple TV when the morning show comes back, and then I'll get rid of it again. Because I haven't had anything from Apple yet to like suck me in, except for the morning show. So
that's fair.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, people have had the same argument with Disney Plus. When The Mandalorian finished, they were like, and they'll probably sign up again when The Mandalorian comes back. So
yeah, and I think that's kind of like the flexibility, I guess, that people have. Why do you act defeated? Like you're a shareholder. You're like,
I was like, we would like to see more. No, but just imagine how crazy that would sound if, like, you were like, I'm going to cut my cable until Friends comes back on, and then I'll get cable again. Like, can you imagine back in, like, 1996 being like, you know what, I'm going to get rid of this for a little bit, and then who knows? If they develop another good program, maybe I'll get it again. Well, streaming lets you do that.
That's a hassle. It's a hassle. It's very easy to cancel a membership. They've made it so easy. They've literally...
Shame on you.
Brought you the world, so you're able to do anything. And that's kind of where I want this conversation to lead. Do you feel with the options that we now have that you're going to see that transition? Like there's less and less cable TV providers, cable channels, things to see on cable. You have more and more things going on to Hulu, going on to Netflix, going on Quibi, going on Peacock TV, going on all of these other streaming services that are out there, and movies leaving the cinema. Do you, like Trolls did?
Sure. Do
you see that continuing after post-Corona? Miss Corona if you're nasty? Do you see it after? Do you see it after that? Or not really?
In a way, yes. There's over 200 streaming services. So there's a lot out there that even we don't really know about or talk about.
Yeah.
But, I think it's going to become more commonplace. I think what's going to happen, though, is it's going to keep going back and forth, where streaming is going to take over, and then you're going to realize I'm paying more for streaming than I was for cable. So, Disney Channel's still on cable, Nickelodeon, so if you have certain things just for your kids, you might go back to cable and be like, has all the same shows.
Yeah, but is Disney Channel ever going to show Endgame, on Disney, on cable television?
Probably not. But Disney Junior, for instance, for little kids.
Yeah.
You can have that, So I don't know if cable's ever going to completely go away, per se. And
Right.
think about all the news channels and stuff, like your local news. I mean, what do you do with them? As far as movie theaters,
I think
and
people are getting rid of
theatrical-
them. I think people keep going to Facebook for their news. Stop doing that. Everyone here, stop doing that, please. Stop it now. Continue.
Only go to Facebook for this news. Any updates about episodes or anything,
Yeah.
that's the news you need in your life.
We'll tell you all you need to know. That's how this works. But please stop. I don't care if your second cousin Tammy got stung by a mosquito and now she thinks that she can fly, and that's the news. Like I don't like. There's just so many obscure stories out there. I bet you could literally Google that phrase that I just put in, and it's probably some sick backwater town in Florida. Sorry to any Florida listeners, too.
Way to alienate a fan base.
Carlos included. Yeah, sorry about that. But no, that's true. That's true. Side note, that is true. Not that story I just told, but there was that meme going
backwater?
around. There's that meme going around where if you type in your birthday, and like if you're a man or a woman, like you type in like Florida woman and your birthday, or Florida man and your birthday, and it's the sickest headlines. It is the sickest headlines. So I'm not lying. So anyone who's mad is just mad because it's true. So
Sure, let's go with that.
yeah, I have to own it. I've said it.
Yeah, you're too far in now.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think there's gonna be a theme for movies to go to streaming outside of theaters, and we've talked about that lightly before. I mean, not lightly. We did a whole episode on it, actually. But I just don't see it. And I know like it's becoming more of like, well, we have to do this, but you have to think these are movies that already had release dates that were pushed numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
How long can you backlog movies before you can't release any new movies because you have to release the other movies?
But how much faith do these companies have in movie theaters? To me, it shows that they don't have faith that they're going to rebound in the way that they need them to financially, the movie theaters, to make profit. They're not trusting it. Pushing it back is one thing because I'm going to push it back and AMC's going to open and we're going to be solid, but they're not thinking that anymore. They're like, no, we can't do it. I don't trust it. I don't trust AMC. I don't trust AMC. I don't trust the audience. I don't trust theater goers. I don't trust that they're going to come back in the droves that we need them to eclipse the money that we're going to lose.
Well, I think they don't trust them here because theaters in other countries are opening and
True.
are already open.
True.
Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan movie, is going to open overseas because that's like 70% of the market.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to make all their money, but they'll make 70% of their money. So studios don't, I think, have a fear of movie theaters itself. They have a fear of us not going to the movies and delaying this.
Well,
Like,
that's what I said. Like, yeah,
hurting it.
not the theaters, but moviegoers. I
Yeah.
think they don't have faith in the moviegoers because they're like,
Sure.
I don't think they're going to show up.
But what might happen is other countries will get movies first and everything, and then we get it after. I mean, we have to go through the spoilers and everything and see a movie that the rest of the world's already seen.
How's
They're
it
not
going
gonna
to
drop-
change? How's it going to change you mean thinking that audiences are going to go later, or?
Well, like once theaters open here,
Yeah.
they're going to put them in the theater. If you choose to go, that's on you because it already opened somewhere else.
Right,
Like,
yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, even if theaters, if you told me today that my movie theater in my city was going to open and that I could go watch movies, and I love going to the movies, I would not go. I wouldn't.
I mean,
And there's a lot of other people that would not go.
they say that, but
There's
once
over
the theater
1,000 people
opens-
dying each day.
Sure, but you have people who are still filling restaurants. You have people who are still getting their haircuts, which is much more intimate experience than going to the theater. You can space out in the theater. You can't space out when somebody's giving you that sweet fade or trimming your beard.
Well, I think that there's a difference in perception on what those services provide.
Sure.
Like,
But a restaurant,
I need
you
food.
can't wear your mask while you're eating.
I need food.
Yeah, but
Well, I'm making the
home.
argument. I'm not going to restaurants, but I'm just saying. I'm saying
Yeah.
that the desire to go to the movie theater, I don't think is stronger than my desire to get my hair cut. I think the haircut eclipses the movie theater, and for a lot of other people, it probably eclipses the movie theater.
I think it just kind of boils into camps, because the same thing of like, people, well, I don't have a desire to go to theme parks, yet people are still going to theme parks now that they're open.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you wouldn't, but thousands of other people would.
Well, enough people are not doing it that Disney's like, we're not going to wait. We're going to put Mulan on Disney Plus. And we're gonna put Mulan on Disney Plus in regions where Disney Plus is available, where people can't have it. We're gonna put it in theaters.
Correct. And these opinions are all of my own. Let me just say that first. But where that all came from was I read the Variety article that Bob Chapek was saying that this was going to be a one and done. This was not the new model for Disney movies.
That's such a lie.
Forward.
That's such a lie.
This is a one and done.
That's not true.
But I was listening to other people talk about it too. And what else do you do when your company's losing? I think it's like $3.5 billion they lost. Mm-hmm. What do you tell your shareholders, in a meeting to give them some boost of confidence of we'll be okay, other than, look, we'll release this movie here, we'll put it out here, we'll recoup some of that money back, but we'll be okay. We're gonna make money again. What do you say? You can't say we ate $3.5 billion, and by the way, we're gonna hold firm on those movies, because you need to give somebody some boost of confidence that you're trying to do something to recoup their money. So I think that was kind of why
it's a risk, because to me
it's a calculated risk.
This could not. This has the potential to not go well.
Sure. So
how much?
It's like I said.
This is what, $12 more than Trolls was for people to watch.
I think so. But
I don't have the numbers to know how Trolls did. And what is Mulan running at? How much is it?
$30. $36.
$36, almost $40.
So, but think of it this way: first of all, Trolls 2, the one that went to streaming, it made a little under $100 million on streaming. Trolls 1 made a little bit under $347 million. So, drastic cut. Now, Mulan going to streaming, it's not going to all streaming. It's going to Disney Plus, which is Disney owned. So that means they're not cutting with all these other places.
Correct.
A lion's share is for them. So that's why I said, again, calculated risk. I was watching the John Campea show, and he did the math. So basically what he said was it will take $300 million for Mulan to break even. So $30 at 10 million people, they have 60 million subscribers. That's 1 in 6 subscribers would have to pay for it just for them to break even. Mm-hmm. That's not bad numbers for Disney to do.
No,
I mean, that's 60 million.
And I understand I understand that you're a business. I understand that you're a business. And I understand, maybe it's because the perception of Disney, maybe that's why I have a problem. Is the perception of Disney. You take a time where we have not seen the type of despair and recession and economic depression since ever, arguably, at the very least since 1930. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to charge me on top of my monthly subscription that I already give you $40 to watch this movie. Whenever people are already I don't know. To me, it just seems tone deaf. Like, if I was Disney, and I'm not a business, that I have the luxury of being able to run my mouth and not have to worry about the economic downfall of my shareholders or answer to anyone else other than the opinions of myself. I get that. But where I'm like confused is, one, you mean to tell me that they had nothing else in their arsenal? Nothing. I also find that hard to believe. Let's not act like Mulan is, even if this would have came out in March, this wasn't changing the face of cinema. It wasn't. people don't feel the way they do about the Avengers or any other Marvel movies or arguably even other Disney, like Lion King, any other type of Disney movie. I'm not gonna say any other type, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like Mulan is not like Mulan's not first string, so I'm just confused as to the thought process behind this. Why wouldn't you? If you have something else, do something else. Or reevaluate before you make this decision, reevaluate. Here's where I don't think it's a one-off. If they were smart, I would take the opportunities that we have with, and maybe they will with this movie. Say Mulan does well, say everyone gets sucked into paying the $40, which is absolutely ridiculous, to rent this movie at home. So say people do this. What I would do then is do like a like Netflix used to be, or I think Hulu is kind of now. So like if you pay what is Disney Plus's base price, like $6.99?
Yeah, I think it's $6.99 a month.
Okay, so like you pay your $6.99. This is the content that you get. You pay $12.99 a month. This is the content you get, and it could be movies either straight to Disney Plus that are Disney movies, or if they don't want to do that. Partner with the theaters like Universal did, and get them like a week earlier. Get some sort of value add. I don't feel I'm getting a value add. I feel like I've been screwed by the pandemic. I've been screwed by my government, and now I'm being screwed by Disney. Like I don't like that. I don't like that feeling, and I feel like there should have been more thought into before I try to gouge these people. What is this going to look like? Take the money out of it. What does this look like?
So, I mean, let me throw a hypothetical at you, though.
Yeah.
That's a hypothetical. Hypothetical is what the kids say. Say the theaters did open.
Yeah.
Who was going to complain that you paid $15 a pop to go see Mulan?
No one. And the argument that you've made in previous shows, there's a different expectation, there's a different experience, there's a different value add to physically going to a theater than there is sitting on your couch.
Sure.
It's different. That's why I go to movies instead of sitting at home, because there's a value add. I'm not getting a value add whenever you charge me $40 to watch this movie. Lower the price, and then I might not complain as much. But there's not a value add. To me, what that showed is, okay, we do not think that more than 1 in 6 of our subscribers are even going to watch this. That's what that tells me. Because if they had more faith in it, the price would be lower. If we think half of our subscribers are going to love this, they're going to do it, they're going to go for it, then we didn't have to charge this month or this much. What we're going to have to do now, because we only think 1 in 6 are going to watch it, is charge them $40 to see the movie.
No, I think what the thinking was, to be realistic, people are going to pay. Let's say it was $12 like Trolls, which that was stupid on Trolls' part. That's not the curve that we should grade on, because that was an astronomical failure. But let's say you pay $12, right? Yep. You and your family of 4 watch it. Now, somebody else pays $12. They watch it, but then that person decides, I'm going to pirate this and kick it out to everyone. So now, trying to, help everyone out and experience this thing, like you said, now it hemorrhages you more when you're already hemorrhaging money. Why not try to recoup?
That's the price to play. You can't tell me the same. If you're going to get in the online game, that's the price to play. Every major studio, everyone who has made that decision knows that that's going to happen. And quite frankly, I could see any movie that is in the theaters, point period, that aren't even on streaming services, on pirated websites anyways.
Sure.
But
I think that there's been conflicting reports, because from what I've heard is that you can rent Mulan for $36. Mm-hmm. But what I've heard also is that when you pay that $36, Mulan becomes part of your Disney Plus library. I mean, you can watch it as many times as you want after that. It's not a one and done. Mm-hmm. So I've heard conflicting reports. I'm not sure exactly which one it is.
If it went out on Blu-ray, would it be $36? maybe
Blu-rays are
30.
expensive.
Maybe
Blu-rays
I'm
are
an old
expensive.
man. I don't
I was gonna
know.
say because
I don't buy. I've never bought a hard. I haven't bought a hard disc. I don't even know what to call them. Haven't bought one of those. Haven't bought one of those pictures on
Physical
those CDs
media.
and like. Yeah, I haven't. I haven't bought one in years, so I don't know what. I don't know.
Blu-rays, yeah, they run you about $36-$40.
There's like, I feel like it's acceptable and people are stomaching this because it's Disney. And I'm like the opposite. I'm like disgusted because it's Disney.
No.
People are just like, it's fine. This is normal.
I mean, nothing that's happening right now is normal. But how is this, to me anyway, how is this any different than you say, I have an annual pass to Universal. I don't. But let's say, like, I have an annual pass to Universal. So I can see the same park all the time. But when Halloween Horror Nights comes or Christmas comes, now my annual pass means nothing. And now I got to pay an additional for a hard ticket event to see the same damn park I just saw and the same decorations. Maybe a different parade or two, maybe a different theme, but I saw the exact same crap. And now I'm paying another $200 to see something that I can't see with my annual pass that cost me $800, $600. So how that's worse to me in my mind is to have to pay for like a Halloween Horror Nights after you paid for an annual pass that was basically like you can do whatever you want. So for me, if the theaters were open and you were like, yeah, as an experience as this, you can pay $15 a pop for your kids to go see it, and now you just paid more than you would have paid staying at home. Whereas you pay that $36, all of you can watch it with the peace of mind of we don't have to go out to watch this, but we do have to pay to watch it.
So even with that logic, don't you have now a precedent being set by Disney? Say this does go well. Say it does astronomically well.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't other studios follow suit? For the same reasons that you just said. So families could be like, I feel more comfortable now. This is so convenient. It's so easy. Like, did they think like, if this does do really well, maybe this will further hemorrhaging an already struggling movie industry?
I think that the elephant in the room is other companies aren't Disney. Disney had like an $11 billion year at the box office. They were cranking out billion-dollar hits.
Which is weird that they couldn't take a loss with Mulan without
Paramount
steamrolling me.
Well, they also owe money for production and everything. Like, I mean, they owe people.
I understand that, but I mean,
So,
studios,
people who
studios
don't know
produce
behind the
flops all the
scenes.
time.
Sure, and they try to avoid it. No one goes in like,
Right,
all right, guys,
right. But it's
6
not
flops
gonna
on
be
the calendar right now.
All I'm saying is if Mulan never saw the light of day, Disney would not file for bankruptcy, is what I'm trying to say. It would not happen.
No.
So, but continue with what you're saying. I'm sorry.
But what I'm saying is, Mulan has the potential to do phenomenal streaming wise. It has the potential. Is it gonna happen? Probably not. To hit $800 million, it would have to be 1 in 2 people would pay the $36 for this. So is it gonna hit 800 million? No. Was there a guarantee it was gonna hit 800 million to theaters?
No.
Maybe not.
No.
I mean, Aladdin did, and no one expected Aladdin to
Again,
do
but
that.
Aladdin is not Mulan.
Right, but Mulan was such a shift in how they cast it, how they did everything. I mean, it was more of a cultural
People
turn.
don't care about that. People don't care
They
about
do.
that. They do not. If you have kids that just want to go see Aladdin or just want to go see Mulan, they don't care. Kids don't understand. They don't.
Correct.
And maybe I'm not giving enough credit to young children, but if you ask somebody I'm sure there's a website that ranks Disney movies, and I'm 100% positive Aladdin ranks higher than Mulan. So to compare those two, in terms of favorability, to compare those two, again, I don't see it. And with all the controversy surrounding Mulan to begin with, even before this was going to go into theaters, there were already issues there. There's already and again, not that I buy into this, But there are people in this country that because of other people in positions of power that look to, especially China in particular, very negatively.
Sure.
I find it very hard to believe that they didn't consider that whenever they're like, we're going to pull this from theaters. Of course, they would never admit that, but I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. You have the most powerful person. You have the most powerful political person, arguably, in the world.
Sure.
And they didn't care? They didn't think about that? Come on.
Me personally, I don't think that
Not
really...
a soul in that room said anything? Not a soul was like, wow, this is...
I think when you look at what Disney had left in the theaters this year to go through, it was probably more along the lines of which of these has the least chance of hitting $1 billion. Again, not saying Mulan's couldn't do it, because again, it looked like a fantastic movie. From all the trailers I've seen, from everything I've seen, it looked fantastic. In my mind, the trailers, if you compare the two, it looked better than Aladdin. Forget the animated ones. The live-action Mulan looked better than the live-action Aladdin just from the trailers. So, would it have hit $1 billion? I don't know. But there's a reason that they chose that one instead of like a Black Widow that you know is going to hit $1 billion. No one in their right mind can say Black Widow's not going to hit $1 billion. You can't, because Marvel has proven their track record that this is just another day at the office for them. So, you weren't going to put Black Widow there. You weren't going to put Soul, the Pixar movie. You weren't going to put that on streaming and not in the theater, because that also has potential to do phenomenal. Because Pixar, I can't name one Pixar movie that doesn't knock it out of the park, though.
So about $1 billion for Soul.
But I mean, it's how much confidence they had in each movie. They might have had more confidence in Soul. Yeah. Again, I don't know.
But and that's what I'm asking. You don't think that, given the climate, you don't think any of that was a consideration on top of Mulan? Then if you really don't think anything else other than they don't have faith in this movie, I don't know how you can say out of one side of your mouth this could have in theaters made $1 billion whenever you're saying that they had such little faith. They had such little faith in a remake of a Disney classic over these unknown like Pixar movies. Like you're like, I don't know how you're taking both these.
No,
like to say that. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that I think that played a bigger role in it than the climate of today.
Oh no, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
That's what I'm saying. I think that played a bigger role.
I'm just saying the financial, the anticipation or hopes of budget success was not the only metric in which they measured that decision.
Well, you also have to look at Soul hasn't had their release date moved publicly, as far as I know. Right. Black Widow has, but again, you're not going to touch Black Widow. Mulan's had 3 release dates. At what point are you pouring more into marketing now than you would have before? And there's no opening site for theaters here because people want to play around and play games. So there's no end in sight for this. This movie already had 3 opening dates. At what point does it get buried in the back to where, again, you have to look at the climate. Wonder Woman's going to come out. Black Widow's going to have to come out. Tenet's coming out. I don't know if there's another Fast and Furious movie that's coming out, but all these movies are going to come out. Where does it start getting buried in things? Because, again, after 3 release dates, it's easy to forget when a movie comes out because you were like, I cared about this before. I'm losing track now. New Mutants did that. That movie on Amazon Prime, there's another streaming for you, My Spy. It had like 4 or 5 release dates. So, I mean, with those factors in mind, it's kind of easy to see why they picked Mulan. And also, Mulan might be the one that they were like, look, this is a strong film. Because before all this happened, Disney had high expectations for Mulan, the live-action one. So they were like, look, this is a strong movie. This is a movie we know people would be willing to pay for. Whereas Soul, you don't know if people would be willing to pay because it hasn't proven itself. Mulan has proven itself.
Correct.
People will pay.
I'm very interested to see how many people are willing to pay that price. But again, like I said, Disney is playing. I think Disney is playing a dangerous game. I think they're playing a dangerous game in the sense that not that it's like games, like they don't understand what they're doing. They fully understand what they're doing. But I don't believe like this is a one-off. It's never going to happen again. That's not true. That is not true. And to say that would even be foolish. Like to say like how could I tell you in 2020 that this is a one-off and it's never going to happen again? That's ridiculous. No one should ever believe that whenever he said that. But to see this then movie do so well, and then to see other people follow suit, I mean, not on purpose, but Disney's like sticking it to the theaters. Mm-hmm. This is a blow to the theaters. Let's not forget that. Let's not act like, this is like no one's hurt in this process. Like
right.
I think that it's important if you're the kid on the playground and you carry the biggest stick, I think you have to be careful where you swing it. And that's Disney to me. And I'm just curious. I'm curious to see how it's all going to play out. I'm curious to see if it is successful, like super successful, where the rest of this is going to lead now, even afterwards. Because they're like, wow. I mean, if we wouldn't, like, think about how well Mulan did. If we had originally planned to do this straight on Disney Plus, which, like you said, we own, we're not paying anyone else. So, if it did this well, could you imagine how much money we would have saved on marketing this? How much money we would have... I mean, we would have hand over fist. We already make hand over fist. Hand over fists. Like, it would be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous. And I think that's where you have the potential for the landscape to really change here. You really have the landscape the potential to change. And then, God forbid, this... whether we have a second wave, I don't know. We're never going to notice a second wave because we can't conquer the first. But so it's very interesting to see what that's going to look like come late fourth quarter this year, first quarter next year, second quarter next year, really even all of next year, the whole entire year, what that's going to look like. But I think it's going to completely change the cinema experience. I do. I think that we will look back if this goes well. I think we'll look back and this will be a catalytic moment, and people will reference this in the past and say
this episode.
No, Disney's decision to do this, and then this was the start. Not trolls, not anything else. This was the decision that started a shift in the landscape.
I think if that moment happens, they'll look back at Universal's backdoor deal with AMC as this was the moment, because at least Disney was like, look, this is our streaming service. We're going to put it in theaters overseas. We just physically can't because the American public is still arguing about a mask. So they don't want to go to the theater. They don't want to go to the theater. It's not us. Like Disney, if they could put in the theater, they would, because they know that's where the bank's at. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So at least they're still saying, like, look, we're not infringing upon any other agreements we've had. We will put it in the theaters where there's no Disney Plus. We'll do that. But Universal went after the weak Buffalo or the weak whatever analogy you want to use, and they were like, listen, we're not going to deal with the other theaters, but we want to talk to you, AMC, because we have faith in you. No, you didn't. You wanted to screw out the other theaters, and you made AMC cave because they were in a position to. That, to me, is the most shady, lowballing thing a studio could have done. And that is so snakish for them to have done. So
where could they have released Trolls with the flexibility and ownership that Disney could do Mulan? They couldn't.
Sure, but Trolls was already, if I'm not mistaken, supposed to have been in theaters at that time, or like a week away, and they pulled it completely. They didn't keep it in other areas where you could have had theaters open. They pulled it completely. meaning no one had a chance to make money off of it. Or it may have already been in theaters for like a week and then they pulled it. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Somebody will correct me. I know they will. But I think that was more the situation. Yeah. That was more the situation. So Universal just all around has handled it far shadier than any other studio has. Mm-hmm. The only ones who've been like mum's the word is like Paramount. You haven't heard Paramount say anything about streaming or theaters. Paramount is like they're not making movies at all apparently.
Paramount's like the old man. Paramount's like an old man. They're like, we're gonna let you kids fight it out, and we'll come back to the table. We'll come back to the table whenever it's safe for us to go outside.
Yeah, they're like, do you guys remember we did those other movies?
Right.
Any of them? We did Iron Man the first time. Remember the first Iron Man? That was good.
We were there for that.
Yeah, like, you know, but I just think I think Disney is going to get a harsher criticism because it's Disney. And like you said, they lead the pack. Mm-hmm. But I think when you really weigh it all and you look at it, Universal has made a lot more shady deals that didn't need to be made because they were trying to revolutionize the game or get their bottom dollar. You can't be mad at someone for doing it better.
Hold on. At what point, though, is it about, like, yes, you may be right. You may be right. But I think if we're going to say Disney did this because they were, you know, they had to answer to people, Universal has to be in a more precarious position than Disney. They have to answer too. I don't think it was more about like trying to revolutionize anything or starting like or making hand over fist money because they didn't. Mm-hmm. I think to them it was. I think it's survival, a matter of survival. I'm not saying that they're what is going to bankrupt them, but they don't have the luxury that Disney could have had. Like I said, they don't have the luxury of say like we'll just never show it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll hurt, and yeah, we'll have to answer to some people. We're not going anywhere. And we're not going anywhere for a long time. A long, long time. Universal's not going anywhere either. But they don't have the same they don't have the same leverage right now that Disney does. That may be a different conversation 10 years from now. I don't know.
It could be. It could very well be. But at the same time, you know, as everyone loves to say, survival of the fittest and all of that, at what point is that not other companies' problems? If Universal's is in that boat and you had to do that, that's no one else's problem because you made the choices to get to that boat. The same way people are looking at Regal and Cinemark and AMC and they're saying, well, how come AMC's the one who's crying for help? They shouldn't have done all these things. They made decisions that they knew were going to make them money in the long run. No one predicted this, though. But no one's coming down on Regal or Cinemark because they're not in the boat AMC's in. But
and people aren't coming, and people aren't coming down on Disney because it's Disney. People are coming down on Disney because of what they're charging. That's why this is so big. That's why this is so big. It's not because they're innately doing it. Because, like you said, other people have done it. It's because it's something unheard of to do. It's a way for them to flex. One, it's a way for them to flex. Mm-hmm. Two, it's a way for them to hopefully recoup or make money off of this film.
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue. The issue is you're taking and again, this is my personal opinion. It is not fact. The facts are opposite of what my opinion is on this. They are. I know that they are.
I just like that you addressed it for him.
Yeah, but Disney Plus has underwhelmed me personally. Sure. But like I said, it's not incorrect. I shouldn't have said that. That's not. It's true. It's like that's how I actually feel. But there are more people that feel the opposite of how I feel, and to then take that, and thank God I didn't pay $6.99 a month for it. But then to take that and then charge, what is that? Not a math major. What is that? 4 or 5 times? 5 times? 6
You're asking
times?
The wrong person because if you're not a math major, I'm far from it.
4 or 5 times your monthly subscription fee just to watch it. It just seems kind of Like I said, it seemed tone deaf whenever everyone was struck. Like we literally just like millions of Americans just got like siphoned the $600 a week. Like they're not even getting that anymore. And then Disney is like, hey, by the way, make sure you save enough shekels for this. Give the kids ramen. Give the kids ramen because you're gonna like this banger. Like it just seems very weird to me. It seems very weird to me. A company that from their own doing creates an image of itself to be a certain way.
Sure,
like we talked about this in a previous episode. That's why they I feel Disney's super shady with their political ties. And it's because they like creating this image of being for everyone. And I think that's part of the problem. Not their image, but because of their image, how people are viewing this. Myself in particular.
I think even if Disney would have said it's $15, people would have flipped that
Not
I already
like
have
this.
Disney Plus.
Not like
they,
this.
It could have been anything. Not $50. They would have flipped. I would have flipped for $50. But even if it was $15 or $10, people would have
What
said,
about
I'm already paying for
$37?
Disney Plus. 37, that's my line. But you would have had the same thing. But again, if you're good at something, you don't do it for free. You got to make money. And I know that, the company has a reputation for being these things, but at the end of the day, they got to make money. You can't be the nice guy all the time and be like, well, I understand. Here's this. I'm going to lose money on this that I expected to make almost $1 billion on, but I'll take that hit for you, America, because you can't get your act together and go to the theater like everyone else. I'll do it for you guys. Get out of here. Are you serious? Yeah. I wouldn't do that. So I'm not mad at them. I get it. It's a business. At the end of the day, that's what everyone has to remember. It is a business. Money pays for the magic.
I get it. I get it. I just I think it could have been done with less of a hit to the consumer. That's all.
They could have did better marketing and everything
been.
Toward it.
What? I'm sorry.
They could have done better like marketing, and it shouldn't have came like in your face. Like it shouldn't have been you woke up in the morning and you saw Mulan's dropping for this much. If they would have kind of eased everyone in with a campaign of this, I think people would have had a better like palate for it.
Or like I said, I personally would have a better palate for it if you gave me a value add. Even if I paid more a month, I'm cool with that. If I'm getting something out of it. Like it just could have been done differently. There's so many different ways that you could do it. But again, that would have required them of making future commitments, which he doesn't want to do or say. Like I said, no one should believe whenever he's like, this is a one-off, it's never going to happen again. But that would have required, for them to do that, and make a huge change like that, it would have required long-term commitments. And in this precarious situation with everything going on, nobody should make long-term decisions right now anyways, and I get that.
Sure.
But that's what it would have required. At least I think that's what it would have required.
But even your value add, in 3 months, you would have paid more than you would have paid for Mulan.
But I'm getting more. I'm not just watching Mulan. I'm getting other movies that people can't watch with the basic Disney Plus.
But what I'm saying is, even over time, even if you're doing that, and say Mulan is a one-off, and you decide to do the value add to get like Disney Plus exclusives even, like the week they dropped and they don't see it for 3 weeks or whatever, you're still paying more than you would have paid for that one shot.
But I'm not. What do you mean? I'm not taking like. If I'm paying $12.99 a month instead of $6.99 a month, and I can see Mulan before it leaves theaters, say I'm the family that doesn't want to go to the movies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want, if I had two options of just paying the one-off price and not increasing my subscription and watching Mulan, why wouldn't I pay $12.99 if I could see Mulan before other people can see Mulan? If I can see Black Widow before other people can see Black Widow? If I could see the other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies before people can see those? Why wouldn't I? I think that would be a value add. I would be perfectly fine with that. If I could see that the same day it came out in theaters, I'd buy tomorrow. Disney, make a believer out of me. I'd wear ears the next show. For real. For real. Because to me, that's a value add. That's a value add to me. Because it's something I'm fine making an incremental investment that grows over time if it's being reciprocated to me. If these new films just keep coming my way. What I don't like is being like, give me all your money. Like that's what I don't like. I was gonna use some other analogy, but I didn't know what would be appropriate and what wouldn't be appropriate, so I didn't do it. But like,
give me all your money.
I mean, that's what it will be. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear if you're gonna watch it, if you're gonna pay and watch it, and then we'll let Disney know whether this was a good idea or not, and they'll listen to us. But let us know if you guys are planning on renting Mulan whenever it comes out. And two, if you prefer streaming services over just the traditional movie-going experience, post-COVID, pre-COVID, and if the virus at all changed kind of your decision on that. But make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can ask us questions on any of those sites. You can also send us an email to our links in there. All of our links or all of our socials will be right in the video or right underneath the video that you guys are watching. So as always, thanks for tuning in. This was a long one, so I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in and all the love you've given us so far. So thank you so much. You guys keep us motivated to keep churning out content for you guys every week. So stay awesome.
And as always, remember, if you liked it, hit the subscribe button on the video. Also, our audio version is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere else you want to listen to your podcast. You can
not
find
Pandora.
us.
Still not on Pandora.
Still not on Pandora.
Still not on Pandora. We'll keep you guys updated. Still not there.
Just don't look for us on Pandora until you hear from us. But that will do it for us on this week's longer edition of Beg Pardon. As always, he's been Anthony. I've been Carlos. Remember, Disney makes the movies, but you make the magic. Until next time.